step off the elevator onto the 40th floor of the Whitmore room 10 minutes early, my heels clicking against marble floors that probably cost more than my first month's rent. Chicago stretches out beyond floor-to-ceiling windows, a glittering landscape of lights against the darkening sky. The maitre d' leads me through tables of power lunches and anniversary dinners toward the far corner where my family waits. My mother spots me first, her perfectly coiffed silver hair catching the light. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes. "Oh, there she is, finally," Margaret announces, checking her watch with theatrical emphasis. I check mine. "I'm actually 10 minutes early, Mom." "Well, the reservation was for 6 sharp," she says with a dismissive wave. My stomach tightens. 5 years of estrangement supposedly ended with this dinner, this chance to reconnect. I'd spent hours deciding what to wear, settling on a simple black dress that wouldn't give her anything to criticize. The invitation had come unexpectedly last week. Margaret's voice unusually solicitous on the phone. "Heather, darling, we simply must catch up. The whole family misses you terribly," she'd said, though the frost in her tone suggested otherwise. "Do dress appropriately for once. It's a special occasion." I approach the table where Derek, my cousin, sits with his wife Madison. Uncle Robert and Aunt Patricia complete the circle. 5 place settings gleam under soft lighting. 5. I stop, the realization washing over me like cold water. There's no chair for me. Derek looks up, flashing that familiar smirk I've known since childhood. "Oh, look who decided to grace us with her presence." He gestures around the table. "This table is for real family." My face burns. For a moment, I consider turning around and walking straight back to the elevator. Instead, I spot an empty chair at a nearby table, walk over, and drag it across the floor. The scraping sound cuts through ambient conversation. 5 pairs of eyes watch me without offering help. "You could have asked the server," my mother murmurs as I position the chair between her and Aunt Patricia. I sit down, spine straight. I've learned to take care of myself. Derek turns to Madison, his voice carrying just enough to ensure I hear. "We just closed on that lake house I was telling you about, the one with the private dock." Madison's diamonds catch the light as she touches his arm. "Darling, remember what the decorator quoted for those Italian marble countertops?" Their eyes flick toward me, gauging my reaction. I've seen this performance before, the pointed display of wealth, the subtle reminder that I'm the family disappointment who chose independence over the family business. I take a sip of water, considering my response. "Actually, I've been meaning to tell everyone. Meridian Solutions just finalized our Boston expansion. We're hiring 30 new Paris and—" "Nobody wants a TED Talk during dinner, Heather," Derek interrupts, chuckling. "Some things never change." My fingers, which had been fidgeting with my napkin, suddenly stop. I notice the pattern forming around me, the strategic seating arrangement, the calculated comments. This isn't a reconciliation dinner. It's theater, and I'm meant to play a specific role. "So," Aunt Patricia chirps, "we must tell you about our Mediterranean cruise. The yacht was absolutely divine. Remember that little restaurant in Santorini?" Uncle Robert adds. "The one with the view?" My mother nods enthusiastically. "Oh yes, when we all went last summer. All of them. Last summer." No invitation had come my way. I observe them now with new clarity, their over-loud laughter, their formal attire, the way they seem to be performing wealth rather than enjoying a family dinner. Madison's new designer bag sits prominently displayed on an empty chair. Derek orders the most expensive scotch without glancing at the price. I pick up the heavy linen menu, scanning prices that would make most people flinch. That's when I understand completely. This isn't about reconnection. This is a trap. And they expect me to pay for it. I watch Madison lean toward Derek, her diamond earrings catching the light as she whispers something against his ear. Her eyes flick toward my purse resting beside my chair, and Derek nods with that smirk I've known since we built sandcastles at my grandfather's lake house. The same smirk he wore when he buried my favorite doll in the sand and pretended not to know where it went. "Excuse me," I say, rising from my borrowed chair. "I need to freshen up." No one acknowledges my departure. Margaret simply continues her story about the golf tournament at their country club last month. The restroom is mercifully empty, its marble countertops and gold fixtures a testament to the restaurant's exclusivity. I brace my hands against the cool surface, meeting my own eyes in the mirror. "You knew this wasn't going to be a reconciliation," I tell my reflection. "So why are you surprised?" The door swings open, and 2 servers enter, their conversation halting briefly when they notice me. "Sorry." the younger one says, moving toward the stalls. It's fine, I respond, reapplying my lipstick with a steady hand. They resume their conversation, voices lowered but still audible in the small space. Table 42 is the one that pre-ordered the Chateau Margaux, the older server says. The gentleman specifically requested your most expensive bottles. For the whole table? That's what he said. Some family celebration thing. I press my lips together, the pieces clicking into place. Table 42, our table. When I return, everyone has menus open except Derek, who's swirling amber liquid in a crystal tumbler. The waiter hovers nearby with a bottle of wine that probably costs more than my monthly car payment. You missed the wine selection, Margaret says, her wedding ring catching the light as she fidgets with it. Derek chose something special. I'm sure he did, I reply, taking my seat. Uncle Robert clears his throat. The sea base with the truffle sauce looks excellent. I think I'll have the Wagyu, Aunt Patricia adds. When in Rome, right? Madison, without looking up from her menu, slides her designer clutch to a more visible position on the table. I've been eyeing this Hermes bag for months, she says to no one in particular. But with the way our investments are going, I might have to wait. The market's been brutal, Derek adds, his voice dripping with practiced concern. Lost 30% on that tech startup I mentioned last year. Took a real hit. The waiter returns to take our orders. I opt for coffee. Just coffee. That's all? Margaret asks, her eyebrows rising toward her silver hairline. You're not hungry? I had a late lunch. I lie. Margaret's face tightens with disapproval. Well, I'm having the lobster. Doctor says I need more omega. 3 for my health issues. Health issues? I ask. Nothing serious, she says, though her tone suggests otherwise. Just some tests. Very expensive tests the insurance won't cover. Derek nods solemnly. Family's what matters when health scares happen. Supporting each other through thick and thin. Speaking of support, Uncle Robert interjects, we should discuss the family property portfolio. Some decisions need to be made. The conversation drifts toward family investments, properties I've never seen, and business connections I've never benefited from. Throughout the appetizer course, which arrives on gleaming platters, I notice how their glances bounce between each other and my purse. Heather? Derek says, leaning forward with his elbows on the table. You've been blessed with this unexpected success, but remember where you come from. Family responsibilities don't disappear just because you've made something of yourself. Madison nods. We've always believed in supporting each other. Except when I lived in my car for 3 months after starting my business. Except when I asked for a small loan to make payroll during that first brutal winter. Except every single time I needed actual support, rather than judgment. I should check on something, I say, standing abruptly. Excuse me. I walk directly to the maitre d', a tall man with a precisely trimmed beard. Excuse me, I say quietly. I have a question about tonight's reservation. He recognizes me from our table. Yes, miss. Reynolds. I'm curious who made this reservation, and whether there are any payment arrangements already in place. His professional mask slips for just a fraction of a second. Mr. Whitfield made the reservation, madam. He indicated that the final bill should be presented to. He pauses, checking his tablet. To you. I see. The confirmation lands like a stone in my stomach, though I'd already guessed the truth. And did Mr. Whitfield happen to mention the anticipated total? The maitre d' hesitates. I believe the pre-selected wine alone is nearly $800 per bottle, Miss Reynolds. I nod, keeping my face neutral, though my heart pounds against my ribs. Thank you for the information. As I walk back toward the table, watching Derek laugh too loudly at something Uncle Robert has said, the lobster shells piling up on Margaret's plate, I face a decision point. Should I confront them immediately about their scheme, or play along until the end to see how far they'd go? Exposing them now might avoid the worst of it, but letting it unfold would finally show me who they truly were. What would you do when faced with a family that sees you as a resource, not a relative? Derek rises from his chair, crystal wineglass catching the light as he lifts it high. I'd like to propose a toast, he announces, voice carrying across neighboring tables, to family support during difficult times. His eyes lock with mine, a challenge disguised as sincerity. Conversations around us quiet. Other diners turn, their attention pulled by Derek's theatrical projection. Exactly as he intended. Here, here, Uncle Robert responds, lifting his own glass. My mother nods approvingly. Some of us have been blessed with financial success, she says, her voice honeyed with false modesty, while others struggle with real-world problems. The implication hangs in the air between us. I've become the family ATM in their narrative, my years of sacrifice reduced to lucky breaks and privilege. They don't know about the nights I slept in my Honda Civic during that first winter after I left the family business. 3 months of brushing my teeth in public restrooms, showering at a gym I could barely afford, and washing my interview clothes in laundromats. They never saw me counting pennies for gas while meeting potential clients at coffee shops, pretending I'd already eaten when I couldn't afford both coffee and food. My business nearly collapsed twice. The first time when my initial investor pulled out after pressure from Uncle Robert. The second when a targeted whisper campaign rumors about my instability cost me 3 major contracts in 1 week. Playing entrepreneur. My mother called it whenever anyone asked about my absence from family functions. For 5 years, I built Meridian Solutions without a safety net. No family loans, no connections, no co-signers on leases. Another bottle of the Bordeaux, Derek tells the server with a dismissive wave. And perhaps the lady would like something other than coffee? He gestures toward me, eyebrows raised in mock concern. The coffee is perfect. Thank you, I tell the server. As she refills my cup, she leans close, voice barely audible. Your coffee's on me, she whispers, before straightening up and moving away. That small kindness from a stranger recognizing the dynamic at this table when my own family refuses to straightens my spine. The table falls into uncomfortable silence as they await my reaction to Derek's toast. I take a slow sip of my free coffee, letting the moment stretch. Madison fidgets with her bracelet. The lobster here is divine, she finally offers. Absolutely worth every penny. Aunt Patricia agrees, eyes darting toward me. The rest of dinner passes in a blur of extravagant orders. Seafood towers, aged steaks, wine pairings with each course. Every selection made with deliberate glances in my direction. When the leather-bound folder arrives, the server hesitates for only a moment before Derek gestures toward me. Miss Reynolds will be handling this. The folder lands in front of me with a soft thud. I open it slowly, unsurprised by the total, $1,850. Derek leans back in his chair, one arm draped casually over the back. You don't mind covering it, right? You're the success story here. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. We're so proud. 5 pairs of eyes watch me, expectant, waiting. I close the folder and set it aside. I'm not your bank. My mother's laugh sounds brittle. Heather, darling, it's just dinner. No, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. It's a test, a performance, and I'm done auditioning for a role in this family. The revelation washes over me with startling clarity. I don't need their approval. I don't need their connection. The emptiness I've felt wasn't from their absence. It was from trying to fill myself with their validation. You can't be serious. Derek sputters, his confidence slipping for the first time tonight. My mother attempts nervous laughter. Let's not make a scene, dear. Madison glances around, clearly uncomfortable but still waiting for me to capitulate, to behave as expected. My mind flashes to last Tuesday. My team staying until midnight, ordering pizza and working through projections for the Boston expansion. Raj bringing his grandmother's homemade chai at 10 p.m. because sugar and spice solve everything. Tara insisting we take dance breaks every hour to stay fresh. People who value my brain, my drive, my character, not my wallet. Their genuine support gave me this moment. The strength to finally draw the line. I reach into my purse and pull out a $10 bill. Enough for my coffee and a generous tip for the server who saw me. Under the table, I type a quick text to my driver. Front entrance. Now. You ordered it, I say, standing up and placing the bill beside my untouched water glass. You pay for it. Derek's face darkens as I push back my borrowed chair. You can't just... I can, I interrupt, reaching for my coat. And I am. The maitre appears at my elbow, concern etched across his professional demeanor. Is everything all right, Miss Reynolds? Perfect timing, I say, loud enough for the table to hear. My driver is waiting out front, and these lovely people, I gesture to my stunned family, will be settling their bill shortly. I feel 5 pairs of eyes burning into my back as I walk away, shoulders straight, heels clicking against marble with each step toward freedom. I walk toward the exit with measured steps, the rhythm of my heels against marble, a steady drumbeat of resolve. Behind me, chairs scrape against the floor and urgent whispers erupt. I don't turn around. The maitre d' notices my approach, his professional smile faltering as he reads something in my expression. "Thank you for your service tonight." I tell him, maintaining eye contact. The staff was excellent. He nods, understanding the subtext. "Is everything all right, Miss Reynolds?" "It will be." I continue toward the elevator without breaking stride. From the dining room comes the sound of raised voices, Derek's distinct above the others. She can't just walk out. But I can, and I am. The elevator doors slide open, and I step inside, pressing the button for the lobby. As the doors begin to close, I catch a glimpse of Derek rushing toward me, his face flushed with anger. Too late. The doors shut, and for 20 seconds I have blessed silence. In the lobby, I check my driver's message. He notifies, 2 minutes away. Perfect timing. I push through the revolving doors into the cool Chicago evening, the city lights reflecting off the glass towers surrounding me. Freedom is 2 minutes away. "Heather!" Derek's voice cuts through the night air as he bursts through the doors behind me. "You think you're better than us now, don't you?" His words are loud enough that several patrons waiting for their cars turn to watch. A couple pauses their conversation, the woman's eyebrows rising as she takes in Derek's aggressive stance. "Keep your voice down," I say quietly. "Or what?" He snarls, stepping closer. "You'll run away again? That's what you're good at, isn't it? Running from family responsibilities." A valet attendant glances our way, then speaks quietly into his radio. Derek doesn't notice, too focused on his performance. "All these years building your precious company while Mom struggled with medical bills. While I lost everything in that investment, you never once offered to help." The couple is openly staring now. The woman whispers something to her companion, who nods with disapproval directed at Derek. As Derek's words hang in the night air, I consider my options. Should I explain how hard I'd worked while they dismissed me? Or was it finally time to walk away without justifying myself? What would you do? Defend your success or let your actions speak for themselves? Before I can decide, my car pulls up to the curb, black, understated, professional. My driver, Thomas, steps out and opens the rear door without a word. The timing couldn't be more perfect. Derek blinks, momentarily thrown off his script. He expected me stranded, vulnerable to his pressure. Instead, I have an escape route. "Miss Reynolds." A deep voice joins our standoff. The restaurant's security officer approaches, his posture relaxed but purposeful. "Is this gentleman bothering you?" Derek sputters. "This is a family matter." "Yes, he is," I answer calmly. The security officer positions himself between us. "Sir, I'll have to ask you to step back." "Do you know who I am?" Derek demands, his carefully cultivated image cracking under pressure. "Someone causing a disturbance outside our establishment," the officer replies evenly. Thomas stands by the open car door, waiting. The systems I've built through respect, not manipulation, form a shield around me now. Derek's power play dissolves before my eyes. "Heather, wait!" Madison's voice carries across the driveway as she hurries toward us, her designer heels clicking frantically against the pavement. "You can't leave like this. Your mother's medical bills, she didn't want to tell you how serious it island." The desperation in her voice might have worked once. Now it sounds rehearsed, hollow. "Margaret needs those treatments," Madison continues, lowering her voice to seem confidential, though it's clear she wants the bystanders to hear. She's too proud to ask directly. As if summoned, my mother appears at the restaurant entrance. Unlike Derek and Madison, who charged after me, Margaret moves slowly, her eyes fixed on the ground. She doesn't approach, doesn't join their performance. Instead, she hovers at the periphery, her complicity in their scheme evident in her refusal to meet my gaze. The trio's coordinated manipulation becomes transparent under pressure. Madison playing the concerned in-law, Derek, the aggressive enforcer, Margaret, the silent victim. Thomas clears his throat softly, a gentle reminder that I have a choice: stay and engage or leave on my terms. I take a step toward the car, feeling lighter with each inch of distance I put between myself and their schemes. Margaret steps forward, her shoulders hunched in a way I've never seen before. Her hands tremble as she reaches toward me, stopping just short of making contact. "Heather, please," her voice cracks. Family should support each other through hard times. Your father would have wanted— Don't. The word cuts between us like glass. Don't use Dad to manipulate me. Madison fidgets with her wedding ring, twisting it around her finger so frantically I wonder if she might wear the skin raw. Her eyes dart between Derek and me, then to the small audience of restaurant patrons who've paused their evening to watch our drama unfold in the parking lot. Derek's face hardens. He steps closer, towering over me the way he did when we were children, and he'd stolen my homework or hidden my shoes. "You'll regret this," he hisses. "When your little business inevitably fails, when you need real connections we have, you'll remember this moment. Family remembers who abandons them." I study them all with new clarity. The desperation in their eyes isn't just about tonight's dinner bill. It's deeper. They're watching their safety net disappear. I reach into my purse and pull out my business card. The one with the embossed logo I spent hours designing myself 3 years ago when I couldn't afford a graphic designer. I flip it over and write something on the back with the pen the server lent me earlier. "Here." I hand it to my mother, maintaining eye contact while she takes it. She glances down, reading my handwritten note. Her lips part slightly, but no words come. The card contains my private number, not the one listed on the company website. Below it, I've written, "When you're ready to talk, just you. No setups." Margaret's hand closes around the card, knuckles white. "I built something from nothing," I tell her, my voice even. "While you were all taking Mediterranean cruises and buying lake houses, I was working 18-hour days. I lived in my car for 3 months. Not once did any of you offer help." My heart pounds steady and strong in my chest, but my hands don't shake anymore. The revelation surprises me. I'm not afraid of their judgment. Not anymore. Call me when you want a relationship, not a bank account. Derek scoffs, his confidence returning when he senses his mother's hesitation. "Look at you, so high and mighty. Did you forget who paid for your college? Who bought you your first car?" I turn to him, meeting his gaze directly for perhaps the first time in my adult life. "I'm not family anymore? Good. That means I'm free." The words hang in the air between us. Derek's mouth opens, then closes. For once, he has no retort. Madison's practiced smile falters. She touches Derek's arm, but he shrugs her off, his face flushing red beneath the parking lot lights. "You ungrateful little—" "Sir." The security guard from the restaurant steps forward. "Is there a problem here?" I don't wait for Derek's response. My driver pulls up right on cue, the sleek black car stopping precisely at the curb beside me. I open the door myself before he can come around. As I slide into the back seat, I catch my mother's eye one last time. Something passes between us, a question, perhaps, or the ghost of understanding. "Everything okay, Miss Reynolds?" my driver asks, watching the trio in his rearview mirror. "Better than I've been in year." As we pull away, I don't look back at them standing stranded in the parking lot, the glow of the restaurant's lights illuminating their stunned faces. I don't need to see their expressions to know what happens next the moment they realize they'll have to figure out how to pay that $1,850 bill. I lean back against the leather seat and take my first full breath of the evening. 3 weeks later, I'm reviewing quarterly projections when Lisa, my assistant, pokes her head into my office. "That Atlanta firm called again about partnership opportunities," she says. "Also, did you hear about your cousin?" I look up from my laptop. "Derek?" Apparently he took a sales job with some insurance company down in Atlanta. Sudden move, according to Jen in accounting her sister works with his wife's best friend. I nod, unsurprised. Derek's carefully constructed image wouldn't survive the humiliation of that night in Chicago. Running away was exactly his style. "Thanks, Lisa." After she leaves, I open my desk drawer and look at my mother's card. I'd found it in my mailbox a week after the dinner, no note, just her contact information written in her perfect penmanship. A gesture, perhaps. An acknowledgement. I haven't called. Not yet. I'm still deciding if that bridge is worth rebuilding, or better left collapsed. My phone lights up on my desk, the screen displaying my mother's number. I stare at it for 3 rings, weighing decades of history against the possibility of something new. Then I reach for it. On the planned promotion day, the morning sun streams through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Meridian's Boston office as I stand before my team. 12 faces look back at me with attentiveness I once craved from family dinners. No one checks their watch when I speak or exchanges knowing glances when I share ideas. The Pittsburgh expansion means we'll need to restructure our creative teams. I say, pointing to the projection behind me. Any thoughts? Hands rise without hesitation. Unlike those restaurant dinners where Derek talked over me, here my words carry weight. Jaden, our newest graphic designer, offers a brilliant workflow solution that makes me smile. That's exactly the kind of innovation we need. I tell him, watching his shoulders straighten with pride. After the meeting, I find Alicia waiting by my office door. Fresh out of business school with fire in her eyes, she reminds me of myself 5 years ago. Do you have a minute? She asks, clutching her portfolio. I recognize the uncertainty beneath her professional veneer, the same doubt I carried when pitching to investors who saw me as just a girl with a cute little business idea. I have 15, I reply, ushering her inside. As she outlines her marketing strategy, I listen completely, offering guidance instead of dismissal. The gratitude in her eyes when she leaves reminds me how powerful simple respect can be. The bell above the corner cafe door jingles as Margaret enters precisely at noon for our monthly coffee. The difference between this and the Whitmore room couldn't be starker: chipped mugs instead of crystal, mismatched chairs instead of leather booths, bills measured in dollars instead of hundreds. I brought these, she says, placing a small container on the table. Your father's recipe. The brownies are slightly lopsided, the chocolate a bit uneven. Nothing like the perfect desserts she once insisted on presenting to guests. This imperfection feels like truth between us. You baked? I ask, remembering how cooking was always beneath her, something delegated to caterers. The book club ladies say I'm not half bad. She smiles, a genuine expression I'm still getting used to, though I burned the first 2 batches. When the server brings our coffees, Margaret reaches for her wallet first. It's a small gesture that speaks volumes about our recalibrated relationship. I've got it, I say, but without the tension such words once carried. Next time, she agrees, without the expectation that once poisoned such exchanges. 2 weeks later, string lights twinkle in my backyard as friends and colleagues gather around the picnic table laden with potluck dishes. My birthday celebration is nothing like the stuffy affairs my family once insisted upon. Jaden raises his glass. To Heather, who taught me that leadership isn't about having the loudest voice but the most attentive ears. I smile, letting my eyes sweep across these faces, people who chose to be here, bringing their authentic selves along with their signature dishes. To chosen family? I respond. The ones who show up with respect. The evening ends with Margaret and me walking along the lake path near my home, the water catching moonlight and ripples. I start at the bookstore next Tuesday, she says. Part-time, but it feels good to have something that's mine. We're breaking ground on the Pittsburgh office next month, I reply, watching her nod with genuine interest rather than comparison. She stops, touching my arm lightly. I'm glad we found our way back to each other. The Margaret who stands before me now bears little resemblance to the woman who once judged my every decision. Her growth mirrors my own. Family isn't who you're born to, I tell her. It's who shows up with respect. As we walked along the shore, I wondered if some relationships are worth rebuilding on new terms, while others are better left behind. In your life, how do you decide which bridges to repair and which to let wash away with the tide?